We are live here at the Hartnett Hall Studios in the podcast Red Room. I'm Howard Wade Jr., your broadcaster here at Minot State, and it's so great to be here for episode 3 of the Inside the Dam podcast. I am joined tonight by no other than Minot State football starting quarterback Carson Chrisman. The Beavers, if you're not up to date, the Beavers are 4-1 this year, so a pretty solid start, the best start as a Division II team. Carson, thanks for being here, man.
Thank you for having me.
Now, let's just get right into it. Quick update about you. Started as a defensive back here. You're a junior. Some special teams reps as well. And then this season I come and I'm getting depth charts and they're telling me Carson Chrisman starting QB. Just talk about the transition from year one here at Minot State all the way up to this upcoming season.
Yeah, year one I came in as a true freshman. I started out games 1 through 3. I played just special teams. I was on all of it. I had first game was really exciting. I had 3 tackles just on punt. And then I had my welcome to college football moment where I got killed on a kickoff. And then, so after that, things shaked up differently. We had to make some changes on defense. I ended up starting at safety it was game 4, so the last 8 games of the year. I thought I did pretty well. I mean, I started the rest of the season, so I was pretty cool at safety. And then second season, I was actually ineligible. And that was on me, stuff in the classroom just got behind in first year of college, but that was on me. So then the consequence was that I couldn't play in my second year, so I redshirted. I was able to get that year back, luckily. And then, with the new coaches last year coming in, Coach Bruno was our DC. We ran a 3 safety system, and I was one of those safeties, so that was pretty cool. And then had some personnel shakeups in the offseason, partway through spring. Coach Shields tested me out at some quarterback, kind of as an emergency QB at first, and then we had a guy transfer, and just the way things were working out, he wanted to keep me there, and here we are now.
Hey, by no means you're emergency anymore. You're on speed dial from now on, right?
Yes, sir.
From day one, man, against Valley City, 133 yards, 15 carries, 4 touchdowns. Be honest with me, man. Going into that game, did you see that Madden-like, EA-like stat line coming from yourself after the first game?
I mean, I definitely didn't expect 4 touchdowns. I expect a lot from myself, and I know what I can do, but that was as well as it could have worked out. And, I mean, they were a great team, but there's definitely some talent disparity from NAIA to D2, and they were a good team. They had some really good players, but there's just, I mean, obviously we have more resources and stuff like that, and even just the speed of the game and how hard people hit, there's a difference between the two leagues, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Now, I wanna pause right there because you mentioned the difference, right? And a difference I noticed, I want to say after that second or third year here, you moved up in weight from about 165 to now that 190. That has prepared you to take on a ton of the hits that you're taking rushing the football. So far this year, how has it been, through the weeks leading into the weekend, preparing your body for the workload that you're going to take on in the weekend?
Right. Well, first of all, I mean, I was listed at 165. I don't think that was completely accurate. I came in around probably 180, something like that. I don't know. That was from recruiting or something when I was 165. But yeah, came in around about 180. Now I'm 190, 195. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely a difference between when you're controlling the hits and you're hitting people, and then when you're trying to avoid hits and you're getting hit against your will, really. But the way it goes, quarterbacks don't really get hit much in practice, but the whole practice week, I mean, at least I think this week was probably the most sore I've been coming off the Sioux Falls game, and most weeks you're really not 100% until Friday, maybe even Saturday. But yeah, just trying to get ready through the week, all that, just getting back to 100%.
Now, we'll get to that Sioux Falls game for sure. The Northern game, you guys ended up nail-biting finish, 17-14. Talk about that drive. So far, it's your best passing game, right? And it's no secret you guys want to run the football. Your offense is designed to just head down, like Marshawn Lynch said, and just keep going at him and at him and at him. That's the goal. That Northern game, talk about that drive that led into the 2-point conversion to tie things up, and how the pass game was able to just almost like a fairy just appear and then just go right back.
Right. I mean, that's our goal. We want to be really efficient passing. We're not going to pass a whole lot, but when we do, we need to be good at it. And all the running that we do definitely sets that up. And yeah, there was a huge conversion. We had a little crosser over the middle to Eric Palmquist. He made a great catch, a little run after the catch. And we do have to definitely rely on the pass game when we need it. We don't need it a whole lot, but like I said, we have to be really efficient at it when we do. And yeah, that was huge for us in that game.
Huge. You guys are undefeated at home. To the Sioux Falls game. Got the chance to be on the call with that game, Owen Patterson. Energy Day, you guys brought it. Had a touchdown in that game. The start, that first quarter, had the heart racing of Beaver fans a little bit. Talk about, I don't know what was said in the huddles after quarter number 1. How did you guys react to Sioux Falls pretty much just going stagnant? They found no more rhythm after the first quarter. It's almost as if you guys just took all of their rhythm and punched it on offense.
Right, and it was really, I mean, I take a lot of blame for that. I threw a pick on the third play of the game, so they have a lot of momentum. They have a short field. They had the ball at like the 25, go in and score. You can't expect the defense to stop them when they're set up that well. And then second drive, I fumbled, and then I had a little miscommunication on fourth down, and then we punted it again. They didn't necessarily have a short field, but they didn't have to drive the whole field, so. I was telling the defense, those are on me. We'll come back from it. We got you guys here, and just telling the offensive sideline, like, hey, they're not stopping us. We're stopping ourselves. So after that, we had a nice long drive, a couple big third and fourth down conversions that we took a lot of clock too. Got our defense to rest. Then they, kept getting stops after that. And then going into halftime, like we could tell, after our second touchdown drive, they were gassed. We knew they were done, and we were down, 16, 14 and a half,
Yep.
if I remember right. Yeah, we knew they didn't have anything left. And I told the defense, like, we were rolling. We only needed one more stop. And I guess that touchdown at the end counts because we accepted the penalty just because the game was over. But they pitched a second-half shutout, really a three-quarter shutout, and that was awesome. Yeah.
I'm curious to know. Don't want you to give the game plan away, but do you think you and the offense can hold on to the football for the entire 15 minutes of a quarter? You held it on for almost 10 minutes, I want to say, back in the third quarter this past game against Sioux Falls. Do you feel as though some way, somehow, you can game manage a 15-minute drive up the field?
I mean, that would be pretty awesome. We definitely want to always control the time of possession. I know last game we had the ball for just over 40 minutes, and when I found that out, I mean, that's awesome. That's a goal, especially in the fourth quarter there. We have the lead. We just want to move the ball and just have chunk plays. But, yeah, a 15-minute possession, that'd be pretty cool. I know, honestly, like some of those drives shouldn't have even been that long. Like we missed out on some opportunities for some really big explosive plays. So, I mean, I'd be happy if we just keep getting 4 or 5 yards every play, but we definitely need to bust some big plays every once in a while.
Once in a while, the big plays will come.
Yeah.
And, I feel sorry. Shouldn't feel sorry, but I feel a bit sorry for some of the defenses that have to take on Lovett, Chrisman, Buchanan, when Daniels gets back, Palmquist, Stonebreaker. I mean, goodness. Just a ton of athleticism, a ton of strength. You guys, you look sharp, running through the tackles, love it. Smart decision-making. It's not going to go right every time, right? The pitches outside, tosses when you keep it, when you don't. At what point in time does, discretion sometimes get to play in your mind where how soon should I pitch, or when should I hang on to it? How quick do you think you're making these decisions when you're out there?
Yeah, well, a lot of times in the triple option, you have your read guy and your option guy, and if either of those guys make the tackle, you're wrong, or I'm wrong. So that's just what it comes down to. Like on the handoff, if he can make the tackle, the end or whoever are reading, if he makes the tackle on the running back, then I'm wrong to hand it off and stuff like that. So I've definitely gotten a better feel for that as the year's gone on. Like there's been a couple times where I pitch it too early and our option key makes the tackle. So then I got to learn from that and make sure I dip inside, or there's been a few times where I can fake the pitch and knife it up there, get a few yards. So it's been a learning experience, but it's been cool.
All right. Now, talk about this upcoming weekend. You guys head to Nebraska, take on Wayne State. They're 3-1. They faced some pretty solid teams. I want to say they lost them in Cato 35-28, if I'm not mistaken. And so what is your intentions heading into this game, an away game, on their home soil?
I mean, obviously get a win. We had a really bad road game, our last road game, so we need to bounce back from that. Obviously, looking back at this last week, we need to start faster. So if we play like we did the last 3 quarters this last game, I'd say that's the goal.
Well, all the best with that. Not just this upcoming weekend. Hopefully we get a chance to speak later on this year. You guys are part of history. Talk about that. 4-1. Again, it's a place that Minot State football has not seen in quite some time in terms of record. How does it feel to know that you are etching your name in the history books as a starting QB for Minot State?
I mean, it's just awesome, and it's not just me. I mean, a lot of times quarterback gets a lot of credit, but there's been so many pieces of the puzzle that put it all together. We haven't even talked about the O-line yet. The O-line's been awesome. But, I mean, the most wins in the D2 era, so they moved to D2 in 2012. The most wins since then has been 3. So we're at 4, and we only have 1 loss. We still have over half the season left. So we want to keep building on that, and we want to be the first team to go to the playoffs in the D2 era too. So we're just going to keep building, and we knew all this time how good we were. We just had to go prove it. I mean, nobody really believed in us. I hope that maybe some people did, but to us, it doesn't really matter. We're just going to go do what we do.
Well, again, all the best. Keep that same mentality. I'm sure it's in there. I've heard from Nalu Cadero, Mizell Williams, and now yourself on the offense. That Minot Moving Company you mentioned, They're doing great. All of you guys, all of the puzzle pieces, man, just continuing to stick together. Good luck this weekend. And to all of you out there, Beaver fans, he mentioned it. Believe, right? Good luck to the Beaver football team. Coming up next, it will be Bailey Bromanshenko from MSU Women's Volleyball. Keep it here. The Inside the Dam podcast. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Inside the Dam podcast. As promised, Minot State volleyball player Bailey Bromanshenko has joined me on the Inside the Dam podcast to talk about volleyball, life, and how things have been since she transferred here to Minot State. Coming from NDSCS, Bailey, thank you for joining me tonight. Now, let's get right into it. You transferred here, a year ago, 2.5 years ago?
A year and a half.
A year and a half or so. And middle blocker. Have you always played in the middle blocker position?
Actually, I was recruited from my JUCO as an outside. I was outside for a little bit, played a little bit of right side, and then our middle got injured at our JUCO, so then they just put me in the middle, and she liked it, and then I've been a middle ever since.
It's worked out, You're first team all-region, 13 in all-conference, your final year, and just talk a little bit, as best as you can, about why you chose Minot State a year and a half ago to continue your career.
Well, I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep playing volleyball or not, and then I was looking at schools, and I had it narrowed down to about 2 schools, and then I chose Minot State because of the social work program, and then I had a couple friends that were going here as well.
Okay.
So.
Look at that. Friends, social work, and you're still in that social work program, I'm assuming? You stuck with it? What do you do in the social work department then?
Well, I'm on my last semester, so I have this semester, and then I have an internship, but it just kind of depends on the day. We do different stuff every day. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds pretty chill, I'd say. If I were someone that, enjoyed and were comfortable in the medical field, can you talk a little bit about any hands-on learning that you had the opportunity to get involved with since you're at Minot State?
Yeah. So I work at a memory care unit in Minot, and I get to do a lot of hands-on stuff there and see different residents and how they react to different things. So that's kind of a good thing for me to get that experience.
Yeah. Now, about 2.5 weeks ago, I want to say you eclipsed 350 career blocks. Just talk a little bit about, one, body preparation. How do you prepare your body week to week, and even maybe summer times in preparation for your season to constantly just stay bouncy up front and get block after block after block when you can?
Definitely a lot of stretching, your legs, your whole body pretty much. And then we do a lot of band work this season. We started doing more of that.
Good. To keep the body in a pretty good flux and your muscles. I haven't seen, I'll knock on some wood, haven't seen or heard of any injuries, right, related to the Achilles and these modern day injuries, if I'd say, of bouncy athletes getting hurt just by touching the hardwood a pretty awkward way. You seem to take a pretty good liking to what you're required to do here at Minot State. So kudos to you for that. And, the year is not far from over. You mentioned this is your final year here at Minot State. You're able to get the internship. 5 years from now, where do you see yourself?
I either want to be in a nursing home, being a hospice social worker, or in a hospital, something to do with social work and with geriatrics.
Okay, so you're one of those old souls are the great souls on earth type person, if I'd say.
100%. Yeah.
100%. Okay. Yeah, I love my grandma. Oh, I wish grandmas lived forever.
Me too.
Who wouldn't? So yeah, all good stuff. So it seems as though Minot State has brought you a ton of success, and with, like I said, the year being far from over, winter hasn't come just yet. All the best with the rest of the year. Hopefully, you accomplish all the goals and aspirations that you have for this year and post grad life. Is there anything else you probably want to add in that you can't wait to accomplish on the court or off the court?
Not really. I've just had a great experience here in Minot State, and I love all my teammates, and the friendships I made are really great. So I'm glad about that.
Perfect. Well, thanks again for joining me on the Inside the Dam podcast. It was great having you. Up next, it will be Sofia Galvez with Minot State Women's Soccer, and she will be our final guest on the Inside the Dam podcast. Keep it locked in right here. Our final guest for tonight's Inside the Dam podcast is Sofia Galvez, and Sofia is a senior here at Minot State on a women's soccer team, a midfielder. Sofia, thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Now, we'll just get right into it. You were named to the All-NSIC second team last season. Quickly, talk about that accomplishment for yourself. Did you expect it? Was that, going into the year, a goal that you wanted to achieve? What are your thoughts on getting that award last year?
I was honestly really shocked, but also super grateful I did get it. I honestly think without my team, I wouldn't have been able to get it. I feel like we all kind of push each other to do our best on and off the field. And I remember TJ has meetings with us in the beginning of season and what he expects from us and what goals we have. And one of my goals was to make second team, which was really nice. Felt accomplished.
Well, as you should. Congratulations once again on that award. And, after that, coming into this year, your final year, right, at Minot State, it's, a lot of people can say it's a high horse to be on. Did it feel as though coming into this year you had more or less pressure for the season in terms of what you were required to do? Maybe pressure to get on that first team now, or no pressure at all? What do you think?
I would definitely say there's pressure. I feel like there's pressure every year we start into season, and I would say getting first team would be really nice. I would say that's one of my goals now.
All right. Good goals. Good to have goals,
Yes, always.
Always great to know what that light at the end of the tunnel is preparing for you. And so the season is underway, but before the year starts, the game of soccer, for many who don't know, it's a game that requires a great deal of running. Body has to be in great shape. How do you and the team handle preparing for the year, conditioning-wise, workout-wise, before the season gets started?
I would say it kind of starts off in spring, so after season.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like during spring we really focus on our endurance a lot, and sometimes we focus on technical stuff too, but I feel like the main priority is just making sure we stay in shape.
Mm-hmm.
And so then we go through season. We usually all go home for summer. I'll spend time with family and friends, which is really nice.
Yeah.
And just get back into the groove of things. And then I'd say during summer, he gives us a summer packet to do just to stay in shape. And usually it has endurance activities, longer endurance activities. And usually that's Monday through Friday. And during the weekend is mostly our rest time. And then when we get back, the first priority I'd say is getting the beep test done and making sure we're all passing that.
That beep test can get pretty intense from what I hear. How did you handle it this year?
I did okay.
Did okay,
Didn't pass, but I was definitely up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good to be up there. And, I get to broadcast you guys' home games. From what I can see, you look like you're handling yourself pretty good there in the midfield.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, talk about the difference in terms of competition, from California at the high school level. You've been a reliable starter here for a majority of your games. Is there, a very well different pace of play or physicality or style of passing and whatnot? What do you think is the biggest difference in terms of high school play that you had to adjust here at the Division II level?
I would say it's definitely a lot more competitive. A lot more girls want to win. That's a big thing. I feel like high school soccer is more kind of laid back and fun. You're kind of playing with your friends.
Oh.
But we also have club. So I feel like soccer is like all year round. Like you're always playing soccer, which is really nice. And so just going, I'd say club is more competitive, and that's like where the competitive side comes out of us.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It's good to know because, again, we're all from all over and warmer climate. You mentioned in talking that adjusting to the weather wasn't really a big factor for you, which is great because it hurts to see that some players can be really good, but the weather can get to them at times. So it's good to see that you handle that pretty well. Now, with the way the year went last year and your tenure here at Mountain State, you've went as far as championships, right? I want to say a year ago, right?
2 years ago.
2 years ago? 2 years
Yeah.
ago? And even not to mention your start was a COVID year. I'm sure that had to have been tough.
Oh, yeah. It was kind of weird coming in. I feel like a lot of us, because obviously we all got our red shirts out of it,
Mhm.
but it was still kind of nice to get scrimmages because we still did get some scrimmages. So kind of like helped us see like the difference in play and like what we would be dealing with in an actual season.
Now, I love that I'm hearing a lot of us and we. That shows great teamwork. There are a lot of girls that have been with you since day one here at Mountain State when you came. Talk about how you guys stay banded together and how, when you get newcomers, you're able to bring them into the team. Soccer is a game where, that communication has to be there because you guys are running up and down the pitch, 90 minutes, don't get much breaks, so you need to have good communication. Off the field, on the field, what do you do? What do you try to stay away from even as well to remain closely knitted together as a team?
I'd say like having culture standards is a really big thing and just making sure we're all on the same page.
Mhm.
That's really big. I'd say TJ also plays a big role in that and making sure that us as like returners are there for the freshmen or like the transfers that are coming in. And they just want to make us like all bonded because at the end of the day, we're all playing together and we all have to connect on the field, which you could tell when we're connected and we're not connected. And I feel like when we have everyone on the same page, we usually play some pretty good soccer.
Yeah, pretty good soccer. You guys, a lot of, I'd say critics, if I can say critics, would consider you a very much more motivated defensive team than offensive team. Is there any sort of, motivations, I'd say, or even improvements you can touch on to get the offensive side moving close to that level of the defense? Because your defensive intensity is really high. You're shutting out teams when you're not shutting out. You can see the goal, but nothing crazy. You guys aren't getting shots put left, right, and center into the back of the net. Defensively, you guys are up there. Offensively, how do you think personally, or maybe you guys have discussed this as a team, where you can up that offensive edge? How do you guys look to handle that moving forward?
I would say just like going over film, and as a coach, TJ, when we watch film, he tries to give us advice, or like even at practice, focusing more on attacking and finishing has been like one of the big things we've been working on.
Great. Love to hear that you guys take the time out to watch film, and it's great to know that TJ is very involved with it and all of your assistant and graduate assistant coaches as well. And I'm sure you guys want to know how do you do this better, or which girl is doing this that I have to face off with. Do you personally take any matchups personal, if I can say that? There's a particular girl who she's coming in to be a bit extra on her tackles, or she's probably coming in to try and step on your foot every chance. Do you go in with that in mind, or is it just, here's my role on the team, I'm trying to fulfill this role?
I would say the second part.
The second part?
Yeah.
Okay, it's great to know that, again, it's all about the team. It's not a me sport. If you were playing 1-on-11, then you could try and pull that
Yeah.
off. But again,
Most likely won't work.
it's good to see that, and I'm hearing this not only from you, but I heard it from Sierra about 2 weeks ago on the podcast. The team, all about you guys just working together, working your way forward when the ball's coming toward you on defense. And you're a tactical player, credit to you. You have stats that don't necessarily pop up in the box score. So how do you handle going into matchups, like knowing you're in the midfield and your responsibilities? What do you tell yourself that, hey, I need to do X, I need to do this, I need to do Y, going into matchups game in, game out? What do you tell yourself?
I would say like more as my because I'm more of like a defensive role.
Mhm.
I'm more of a 6. I feel like one of the main things I try to focus on is just like distributing to people and getting the ball up more as much as I can and getting it from my defenders, and like whether it's like switching the field or playing it through the forward to the forwards is a big thing I try to do.
You're trying to do it and completing it well, I'd say. Again, you have Augustana coming up at home this upcoming Friday.
Yes.
Any early thoughts that you're interested to share with our viewers about that game, or not just yet?
I'm excited.
Mhm.
I think it's definitely going to be a good matchup. I feel like we both play like the same, like we're both like position-based teams.
Okay.
We try to keep possession more than just playing it long or just kicking it, which is really nice for us because I feel like when teams do try to like play balls more over is like when we kind of lose our play in a way. And I feel like that's also something we need to work on.
Well, from what we've seen as Mountain State fans, as broadcaster here at Mountain State, you guys are handling what the defense gives you, what your offense supplies for you. So all the best with Augustana this weekend, all the best with the rest of the year, and even your future post-graduation life, wherever Minot State allows you to go. On behalf of myself, Minot State Athletics, and all of our Beaver fans out there, we appreciate you. 4 years here at Minot State, all the work that you've put in. And thanks again for joining me here tonight on the Inside the Dam podcast. That will do it. Episode 3, finally complete. Next week, looking to have some more exciting athletes on the Inside the Dam podcast. I'm Howard Wade, signing off.